I think this is a first step. I think this is a way that when the team does that, I think what you have to do now is give ownership groups and potential buyers time to come together. Like first, you send up the smoke signals that say, "Well, look, this is now a possibility," and these things take time, and people will get their bids together. But as a first move, rather than just saying, "Boom, they're for sale, we're taking bidders," people can't just say, "Oh, I'm in." They have to have their all of the money and all the backing and everything vetted by MLB to make sure they're viable.
Yeah, and then they have to make sure that owners like Jerry Reinsdorf don't try to keep them from owning a team.
I think now he's like A-Rod, right?
Yeah,
and, right. So
that's who he wanted to buy the Mets.
Because he didn't want
A-Rod and J-Lo.
He didn't want Steve Cohen in spending all of his money.
Correct. He didn't want another owner that could come in with a lot of money to make him look bad.
Well, I think that at this stage, he's kind of graduated from that at this point because it's not going to be his asset anymore. And rather than being concerned about how much he's spending, it's not his problem anymore. I think they're just going to try to get as much as they can for the asset and take care of the partners that haven't seen a dollar since they bought the team in 1979.
But again, like, just sell the team.
Well, I think they obviously are. It's just we know for a fact they are. I think this is a first step in allowing these potential buyer groups to say, okay, well now let's get serious and now let's look at some who's got what and how we can cobble together. I mean, whether it's just one gazillion, like I say, whether it's if it's the Saudi sovereign fund, they can just snap their fingers and cut a check. But
right.
Most people need time to arrange these ownership groups.
I mean, Dan, let's keep it a buck here. This isn't an NFL team. Like, this isn't the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are a lot of people who could cut a check for the White Sox.
What do you think the total price going to be?
Maybe $1.5 billion.
I was going to say $2 billion. Yeah.
Like this isn't. There's a group that could come together fairly. Like maybe it's A-Rod, maybe it's A-Rod and J-Lo. That can come together and actually do something. Like this isn't prime real estate. As much as we as White Sox fans love our team, love our side of the city, all of that stuff, love the history and tradition, all of that stuff. From the outside, this is a franchise that can easily be paid for.
Well, I think we're probably underestimating it. The latest valuation, the 2023 valuation, had the Sox right in the middle at 16th with a valuation of $1.84 billion.
So we hit it on the head, Dan.
I think you're probably 2.5 as for a purchase price, maybe 3, depending because you're not getting a stadium because you don't own the stadium. You're not getting land.
Who did the stadium deal, by the way? Who put all of their people in place to make sure that this thing would work out to their advantage from a tax standpoint?
Well, the White Sox
Jerry Reinsdorf
and
Big Jim Thompson.
Who made his name with real estate. But the mistake that was made, well, there's several mistakes made, obviously, with this particular stadium that they've been correcting over time. But the modern baseball deals are all about the land around it. All about it. It's not that the park is just the baseball aspect is just a small piece. Anybody buying this team is not going to be buying a baseball team necessarily. They're buying an anchor for a major real estate project somewhere, either in Chicago or somewhere else. So you have the baseball team as your footprint. You have the baseball team to try to cadge public money. Like this stuff Angelos is doing is insane. It's insane.
But even if neither one of us are giant real estate investors, we're not Sir Mix-a-Lot. But if you were trying to put together an argument for buying the White Sox, I don't know if there's enough there. Like you do have to look at it from the standpoint of, is the team going to be able to give us what we need to get ROI? And I don't know that the White Sox mean anything. Right.
Not here.
maybe in Charlotte or maybe in Nashville, it can do that for you.
Right, because the ROI isn't from the baseball team. The ROI is from your land deal.
And I also think that any shrewd owner that comes in to buy the White Sox would be able to either negotiate or buy their way out of the last 6 years of their lease. Like, I'm not worried. Like, I know that you're trying to give a really like clear-eyed view of this. I'm not worried about it from the ownership standpoint. I'm sick of Jerry Reinsdorf and his nonsense. Like, I really am. And this is just another example of how the White Sox as an organization, and clearly White Sox ownership, like, I go back to this thing that I say all the time. It sucks that someone else owns something that you love. And with the White Sox this year, it's never been more clear that they really don't care. They don't care about anything. They didn't care about, like, they canceled Sox Fest with no actual reason.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't give a reason to the fan base. And then they were like, you know what? We're just going to keep doing stuff like this. When they go out and sign the clown, then they're like, we're just going to do what we want. And they thought that they were going to have the righteousness of being a winning team. And that was going to allow them to say, see, everything that we did was for a reason. And
that's what everybody was saying.
That we are a winning team.
That's what everybody was saying. They're saying, just watch. Just watch. We're going to be healthy.
Just you wait.
Yep.
Just you wait, you haters. Just you wait. We're supposed to be the ones that are supposed to be bowing down to their geniusness by now.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they're on a pace to lose 100 games this season. And now they're trying to convince you, oh, well, of course I understand that every baseball team at the end of the season, they do a forensic analysis of what their season was. But you can't tell me that there aren't bigger questions at heart. And if there are, great. And if so, I don't know that if not, I don't know if I care either, Dan. They've really, really warped this thing. And the thing with the stadium, and whether they want to send out test balloons or whatever, or they want to make calls to people who might be interested in buying the White Sox, and all I know is they continue, while they try to get this thing done, they continue to alienate people who have been loyal to them. For all of Jerry Reinsdorf's holy, he's so loyal, White Sox fans have been completely loyal. And this is the way that they continue to be treated. It's really frustrating. And my experience at that ballpark is great. I wish that Superman would come and hang out and he would pick up the ballpark and rotate it 90 degrees.
That'd be sweet, wouldn't it?
It would be awesome if he did that. But I'm all right with it because now we get these incredible drone shots of downtown. So when I'm watching games, I can get some of that stuff. When I go to games, because of the way that the ramps are set up, I can see downtown on the ramps. It would be great if it were like Pittsburgh, but it's not, and I'm okay with it. Why? Because my ballpark's great. It's got great food. It's got great sight lines. It's got great in-game entertainment. It's got great fireworks.
It's a great show. If you don't,
show.
It really is. It's a great show. It is the bang for your buck, especially right now this time of year. And I've said that. I said once the White Sox are out of it, the untold secret is this is
time to go. Now.
This is when you go. This is when you hop on the red line and you go and you get a cheap ticket and you walk around and you eat yourself just stuffed to the gills and you drink and you got every bathroom to yourself. You want to go hang out in the big house and you got that room.
I'm with you. There's nothing. And that's what's so frustrating. Like, this is actually one of the things that they got right. Like, this is their ballpark is a ballpark that people want to be at. And people who wouldn't necessarily come to the South Side to watch a game, when they go to that ballpark, they walk away going, "Oh, that's pretty nice. They got that craft beer thing that they got going on is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you can get street tacos there? Awesome." All of this different stuff that makes it fine.
Are there enough Sox fans left? And I think a lot of Sox fans have died. And a lot of them have moved. Like, generationally, you talk to Chicagoans and you talk about what the Sox meant to their family and when the air raid sirens and everything, what really was important about that team. And, like, I'm older, and my friends and I, deep Sox fan roots. And all of us were the same age. We're all 54. And we are on this White Sox group chat of this team that we have given so much of our time and our emotion. And can I tell you this, that when this news broke yesterday, the fatalism in my White Sox group chat, the fatalism, things like, oh, please, let them move. This would be so liberating. And granted, a lot of my friends, only two of us in the chat still live in Chicago. Everybody else is scattered elsewhere around the world. But the idea of being let go, being liberated from this responsibility is an undercurrent that it's a real thing.
I remember Marshall Harris recently filling in on these airwaves, mentioning that he had a friend, I believe, if I remember correctly, that was a Cardinals fan. And when they moved to Arizona, like he just dropped it all. Never watched another football game ever again. Like, can you imagine? Would there be people that would do that? Would never watch a baseball game again?
So Ray, I have been a football agnostic since I started covering the Bears. I don't have a pro football team to cheer for, right?
I do.
Dan, you've gotten it back.
I do.
You've somehow gotten it back. I have not gotten to that place yet. Yeah. Like, it's still.
Come on, we had season tickets. We went every home game.
And I wonder, could I live being a baseball agnostic? And I don't know. I mean, the cool thing about it is, I know that locally I would still have another team to watch, that I don't hate. So I guess there's that. And then I could kind of choose where my fandom goes from there. But, man, I honestly don't want the White Sox to – I feel differently about this as it pertains to the Bears. See, but I'll say this: I don't
want the Sox to leave because I want to do my job in a town that's got two major league teams.
I don't want the White Sox to leave the South Side. Yeah. This is the one thing that I will be provincial about. I don't want them to leave the South Side.
You should be. It's your home.
But if they do, there would be nothing. There would be no more connective tissue for me after that.